Hey guys, this is Alan from Quinkry Tropicals, and in today's episode I'm going to be showing you how you can actually change the varieties on your mulberry trees. So let's say you have a mulberry tree and maybe it was gifted to you, or you have it growing in your yard, or whatever the case is, and you don't like the variety, you don't like the taste, but you have a friend that has a mulberry tree that has a variety, well, that you like this one right here. This is one of our most popular varieties. This is a green mulberry, green Shahtoot, white Pakistan, whatever you want to call it. This is one of the sweetest varieties that you are going to find anywhere, and this is our top seller here in our nursery. So what we're doing today is, every year we can't propagate enough of this variety from cuttings to make people happy. We sell out every single year, but you know what I have extra? I have a lot of Everbearing mulberries that hardly ever sell because people don't really like it as much. Let me show you. Everbearing mulberries, we have tons of them right over here, and they are good. If you have, a lot of space, may as well have one of every single variety. But if you only have space for just one variety and you like sweet, you will love this one right here, which is a green mulberry, or a Pakistan mulberry, or even Shangri-La mulberry. This one right here, not so much, guys. This one over here, the berries are small, they are more tart than sweet, and people just don't like it as much as the other varieties. And we have several over here that are completely root bound, and if you've been following me for the past few months, you know that when they get root bound, we either have to cut the roots, root prune them, repot them, or up potting in bigger containers, and it's just not worth it. So what we're actually doing today, guys, we are changing the varieties on this Everbearing mulberries. We are using them as rootstock. Let me show you. So what we do is we go ahead and trim them down as far down as possible. We don't want to go like flush to the ground, but you want to leave yourself a few inches so that way you can graft onto it. And then we get branches from a green mulberry right here that we just pruned. We have tons of branches over there we're gonna have on sale on our website, so if you're interested in purchasing science, we'll have them on our website so you guys can purchase them through there. But yeah, we have so many cuttings right now. We're making cuttings. Let me show you. Right here, using the bagging method, we probably have about 100 of them. But this guys here in the bagging method, it's gonna take a little while for them to grow and be big enough for them to be rehomed. While the ones in the pots, since we're grafting them, what happens is they actually look bigger. Those containers are fully rooted in there, so we do not have to wait for our root system to develop. And as soon as they wake up around March, they're gonna leaf out and look amazing, and they're gonna be ready for sale in just a matter of a few months. Compared to the other cuttings, it's gonna take a little longer. So let me show you guys how we actually do this, how we change the varieties. All right, guys, so what we do here at the nursery, especially if you're teaching somebody how to graft, you want to use the easiest grafting method, and for us that's going to be the cleft method. And let me show you how it works. So you have your rootstock right here, which what that means is just going to be the tree that you're going to use to graft your scion or the variety that you want onto. So this right here is the Everbearing mulberry that we don't want anymore. Nobody buys this anymore here, hardly ever, because they're tart, and then hardly anybody out there mainly likes tart. Most people like sweet. So what we do is, you got your scion right here. There is really no rule how long you want them. You don't want them too long, because then that usually increases the chances of them drying out. So what you want is, you want a few nodes on your scion, normally at least 3. So your scion can be literally just as big as that little stick, or it can be as big as this one right here. But for me personally, I like about 8 inches or so, just like this. And it doesn't really matter where you cut it, so I usually cut right in between nodes. So you got one right here, and then you got one right here. So I just cut right in the middle, just like this. So this is going to be the one that I'm going to be grafting onto the rootstock right here. Now the clefting technique is just like this. What you're gonna do is, you're gonna get a knife, make sure it's something sharp, and then you want to go right in the middle of your rootstock, and then you want to make a cut about 1 inch down. The way I like to cut it is by going down slowly, and you want to rock your knife back and forth, because if you go too fast down, what usually happens, if there is any, I guess, nuts in the grain, your blade's gonna catch and then it's gonna go sideways, and then your cut's not gonna be clean and straight like this one right here. So we got about an inch cut right here in the middle. You can see it's split in the middle. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna trim your scion. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go on both sides just like this, and you want to trim it. You want to make a pointy end. It doesn't have to be perfect, but there's something that I'm going to tell you right now that is extremely important, and this is what's going to actually make your graft succeed or fail. I'll show you. I keep going higher because I keep messing up. Let me restart. It's okay. That's why you want your scions a little longer, in case you screwed up your cut like I did. So let's see. Okay. Now if you look how straight that is, so that's how you want your scion. Now what I'm about to tell you, do not forget, this is the most important part out of this whole video, because this is what most people don't even realize when grafting. It doesn't matter if your cuts are straight, it doesn't matter if they look nice or not. What actually matters, guys, let me show you. If you look at the scion right here, and if you actually look at the edge, this edge right here, this green area, that layer right there, it's extremely thin. That is what you actually need to match, to touch the layer on this rootstock right here. As long as those two layers touch, regardless how they touch, they are going to actually take. What a lot of people think is you need to have this area here match the rootstock, and then if it look clean, well, they're gonna take, which is not right, guys. What you're doing is you're combining the cambium layer right here with the cambium layer on your rootstock, and as long as those two match, you will be successful, especially with mulberry trees. Now the next step on this, guys, is you want to pick a side, either this side right here or this side right here. Not always are your scions gonna be the same diameter of your rootstock, so if it's your scion smaller, you want to pick one or the other. You can't have both unless your scion is the same diameter as your rootstock. Now what you're gonna do is, on my scion right here, I like this edge right here better than this one, so I'm gonna pick this side right here to line it up. So as you stick your scion down, what you want to do is you just want to stick it down, and then you want to make sure that your actually layers combine or touch somewhere, so they can either touch on the top or they can touch on the bottom. And as you can see, my cut right here is not 100%. I'm not an expert, guys. I don't do millions of this every single day, so but for mulberries, they're very forgiving. So just stick it down there as far down as you can, and as long as somewhere in this line the cambium layer, remember the little thin layer, touches the cambium layer on this rootstock right here, you will be successful. And as you can see, I have a few points of contact. I have one right here on the bottom, they're lining up really good, and I have one right here on the top and right here in the middle. On this side right here, not so much, because my cuts are not straight, but that's okay. And then if you actually look in the back, it doesn't even line up at all. So this one right here, we're not even worried about it because it's gonna heal over, but this side right here is not where your graft is gonna take. It's gonna be this side right here. Now what I want to do now, if you're happy with your cuts and how they line up, for me, I'm okay. This is about 75% of what I wanted, so I'm good to go. It lines up good enough to take. And the next thing you're gonna do is you can use grafting tape, you can use rubber bands, you can use whatever you want. What I use is electrical tape. You can buy this anywhere, and what I like about it is that it stretches, also sticks, and then over time it's gonna break down in the sun and fall off by itself. So what you want to do now is you want to start at the bottom, just stick it in there, hold the rootstock, and then as you're going around you want to stretch the tape. Go around and then stretch, and that's gonna put pressure around the cuts and make them touch together a lot better and stay that way. And as you're actually wrapping up, make sure that they're lining up because it will move on you. There we go. Just keep going up. You want to cover everything. You don't want anything exposed to the air. And that's it, guys. And that's how you actually graft a mulberry tree and change the varieties. Like I said, guys, I'm not an expert. I don't do millions of this, guys. The more you do this, the more proficient you become. So this is good enough for me. And as you can see over here, if you look that way, we have a lot of them to do, guys. So we can't take the time to make it 100% perfect because it will just take way too long. So as long as you have some cambium layer touch the layer of the rootstock and the scion, you'll be successful. Now what you want to do, guys, is once you actually have your grafted tree 100%, you want to put this in the shade, guys, away from direct sunlight. What some people like to do, they like to cover the whole thing with foil tape. I'm not doing that right now. Foil is not cheap, and when you're covering hundreds of trees, it's just not, you know, it gets expensive. So what we do here at the nursery, we take these guys right here and put them in the shade, and they will take about a month or so to heal. And right now it's February 6th, so it's gonna take into March for them to heal. And then once you start seeing new leaves come up, you know that your graft took. And you will know for sure, especially with mulberry trees, within a month or not or so, if they took or not, because then if it didn't take, this part right here is going to dry out. But if in a month from now it's still green, then you know that it's good to go. Anyways, guys, hopefully this helps you out. If you have a variety that you want to change, especially if you have it in a container, this method is going to work. If you have a tree in the ground, you can also use this technique as well. There are many other grafting techniques you can use, but I like this one because, as you can see, it's very forgiving, very easy to do, and if I can do it, you can do it as well. Anyways, guys, if you like the videos, don't forget to like, subscribe. Any questions, comment below, and I will see you next time.